How's it going, everybody? Thank you for checking my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's gonna be the start of a new fun series where I go over the basics of gambling, and I'm gonna talk about the 3 most common things that people would typically gamble for, which are gonna be rings, amulets, and then headwear such as circlets, coronets to be able to upgrade to a tiara, but more preferably a diadem, especially a rare one, so that way if it doesn't roll with anything really useful, you can re-roll it to hopefully get something better. This is a really fun series to be able to research for because I learned a lot from this. I didn't know the specifics when it comes to the prefixes, suffixes, and what particular levels you can find them at, and I want to make sure to give credit where credit is due. If any of you guys want to look even more into any of this, I do have links in the description below for you guys to be able to follow, as well as a website that has all the lists of the prefixes and suffixes and what particular levels you can find them at. So that way, again, if you want to be able to do more research and to be able to see what particular stats you're looking for and how to be able to obtain them, they're there for you to be able to use. And in this video, we're going to cover the circlets, coronets to be able to, again, upgrade to tiaras and diadems. And in the background, I'm going to be gambling 50 million gold. I was able to get 50 million gold for this project was I took my gold find barbarian to Travancore and ran him for roughly about an hour, hour and a half. It didn't take too long, but if any of you guys want to check out the build guide in action, go check the card in the corner up above. I hope that you guys will enjoy it, and maybe you guys will go ahead and try it out for yourself. I'm going to have all the gambling going on in the background, so that way you're not subjected to seeing all the junk gambles that rolled, which were unfortunately a majority of them. That way we can simply just focus on the information, and if anything worth mentioning rolled, I'll make sure to highlight that at the very end of the video. But with that said, let's get into the video. First thing I want to bring up is the concept of low risk and high yield situation.
Little risk, a lot of yield.
Meaning that you're going to be getting the absolute most for doing the least amount of work possible. And what that means is, for gambling, you want to pair up an Edge Bow runeword with a Gheed's Grand Charm because both of them have the ability to lower the vendor prices. And especially when it comes to gambling 1 million, 10 million, 50 million in my case. The ability to have more gambles with using these, rarely speaking, to using neither of them or even just one is going to be very noticeable. So it's important that even if you're not gambling a high amount, you want to be able to try to lower the vendor prices if possible. So either using an Edge Bow runeword or a Gheed's Grand Charm or pairing them up on your character is going to make a huge difference in the amount of gambles you would be able to get. There are specific NPCs that would allow you to be able to gamble in the game, and each act has their own specific NPC that you can choose from. And they are Gheed in Act 1, Elzix in Act 2, Alcor in Act 3, Jamela in Act 4, and lastly Nilithak or Anya if you saved her in her quest in Act 5. When gambling, regardless of the item, it's important to be able to understand the difference in character level and item level, as they are important to be able to know what particular mods or stats, whatever you want to call them, will be able to potentially roll on the item. The gambling level ranges are going to be +4 to -5 of your character level, meaning that, for example, if you are a level 90 character, you would have a range of 85 to 94 to be able to roll for that item, which is important to be able to understand for the specific suffixes and prefixes that you want to find on the item. It also does not matter what difficulty you're in. For example, if you have a level 90 character and you're gambling in held difficulty versus going back into normal difficulty in gambling, you're not going to have any better chances in normal difficulty, comparatively speaking, to held difficulty. Despite, I would not know why you'd want to go back to nightmare difficulty unless you were just simply re-rolling maps and then you go back into held difficulty to try to actually get the map that you desire. Last noteworthy point before we actually get to the headwear, neither your magic find on your character or your mercenary or the player setting if you're playing single player offline or partying up when it comes to multiplayer is going to have any effect on what we'll be able to actually gamble. It's all just based on random number generation or RNG, which in a sense is gambling in its own right because, for example, if you are magic finding around the game to be able to look for particular items or trying to hunt for runes, it's all going to be completely randomized because you could get a rune in one particular run or you could wait hundreds of runs to be able to get something that is not desirable or hopefully something that you're really looking for. So take that into consideration when it comes to gambling. It's all simply just based on random number generation or RNG, and there's only a few things that you can do to be able to better your odds, and in this case it's going to be having the perfect character level for the particular item that you're looking for. There are differences in the more commonly found magic or blue items comparatively speaking to their rare or yellow counterparts. Magic items will generally roll with up to 1 prefix and or suffix, while the rares will generally roll with up to 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. Now, while that sounds that the rares would be a lot more powerful or valuable comparatively speaking to their magic counterparts, do keep in mind that there are specific prefixes and suffixes that only roll with one or the other. So you could actually end up with a 2-line text magic item that would be a lot more beneficial for your character comparatively speaking to the rare counterpart with 6 lines of text that have nothing beneficial for your build. For the common stats or mods, whatever you want to call them, that will be able to roll on either. They include, but are not limited to, +2 to skills for a character or specific skill tree, FCR or faster cast rate, FRW or faster run walk, life leech, mana leech, a single resistance maxed, or all resistances: life, mana, strength, dexterity, magic find, gold find, and attack rating. There are more, but these are the most desirable things to look for, depending on your build. However, with all the aforementioned prefixes and suffixes that would be able to roll on both magic and rare items, there are going to be some that are going to be better suited for PvP, which is player versus player, or PvM, which is player versus monsters. And these include magic items being able to roll with +3 to either a character's skills or a specific skill tree, higher all resistance going up to +30 when rares go up to 20, higher life and mana, and higher magic find. These are just a few examples of what will be able to roll better on magic items comparatively speaking to rares. And if you want to know more, again, there's going to be an article linked down below for you to be able to check out. Magic items would be able to roll with a max of 3 open sockets. Unfortunately, rares would be limited to a max of 2 open sockets. But if you end up either gambling, re-rolling, or finding anything useful that is a magic item, much like Retro Magic did back in the day when re-rolling, and got a 3 to combat skills with 20 FCR, which is what is referenced as a 320. As I was asked before to be more clear with my explanations on what a 220 is for anyone either new or maybe just never heard of it. A 220 refers to +2 to skills for either a specific character or a specific skill tree with 20 FCR, which means faster cast rate, and a 320 is even better. If your headwear doesn't spawn with any open sockets, magic ones can be Larzicked for a 50-50 chance to get 1 or 2 sockets. For anyone confused as to why Larzik wouldn't just put the max open sockets on a magic item, when putting max sockets on an item is something he's supposed to do with the socket quest, that is actually true, but that's only for the white or plain items, superior items, or set and uniques, which unfortunately only roll with 1 open socket unless they specifically come with that before taking into Larzik. And unfortunately, magic items don't apply here for that. They only get a 50-50 chance to be able to roll with 1 or 2 open sockets. And unfortunately, rares only roll with 1 open socket when you take them to Larzik. So to be able to actually get something really GG when it comes to gambling and having sockets show up before taking to Larzik is arguably going to be harder to find than Tyrael's might. But that's all dependent on what you're looking for. So why would people want to actually spend the time to gamble for circlets or headwear in general when there could be other alternatives that would be cheaper to obtain or easier to find that would be a lot more beneficial for their builds? Some people might be doing it for a niche build when it comes to PvP, as a lot of people would argue that PvP is a true endgame content for Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Resurrected, as it is not just running the exact same thing over and over again. It is a lot of fun when it comes to trying out different variety of builds and fighting a different variety of builds to make each and every one of them really fun and unique. There are those that also are trying to min-max certain aspects of their builds, whether it be health, resistances, damage, whatever it is that they're looking for. Or it could be those people that are like me that are simply just doing it to be able to have a trophy.
A participation
trophy.
My
god, hell no. I don't care what you teach in Trophy Wife training. I'm so sorry about that. Maybe they just want to spend their gold on something that could potentially go towards something really good, and to be able to spend in-game money such as I did 50 million gold, you could potentially put 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, and instead of actually using $100,000 of real life money to be able to progress in the game, that once you actually have the game, you shouldn't have to pay to be able to progress because you're hit with constant paywalls, and to be able to have that exact same thing, be able to hide the pay aspect for the first reviewers, and once they actually give a good review of the game, to be able to then afterwards add the game mechanic to be able to pay to progress, to be able to play the game instead of actually farming and earning all the items, earning all the experience, and earning the ability to end the game with actual effort. You would have to pay to be able to progress. I mean, that just sounds awful. Who would do such a thing? Lastly, let's discuss the seemingly possible for those that want to gamble Griffon's Eye. When it comes to gambling items that would be magic, rare, set, or unique, the odds of them actually upgrading in quality are: unique is 1 in 2,000, being 0.5%, set is 2 in 2,000, which is 0.1%, rare is 200 in 2,000, which is 10%, and magic is 1,797 in 2,000, which is 89%. This is why you will typically find a lot more magic items over any other version, being rares, sets, and uniques. But despite how low the odds are about actually upgrading to a unique, they still aren't zero.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
Griffon's Eye has an item level of 84, which means that yes, you can get really lucky if you have a character level of 80 to be able to gamble and upgrade it up to a Griffon's. However, do understand the range of the +4 and -5 as I covered earlier when it comes to the item level that you could gamble, comparatively speaking to your character level, which means that only in the top of the item levels that you'd be able to gamble for a character level of 80 would be 84. So only one chance of the entire range would it be able to upgrade to a Griffon. So to be able to increase that to 100% of the chance of every single gamble that you'd have to be able to potentially upgrade to a Griffon's, you'd want to use a character level of 89 or higher. And the higher up that you go in character level, the better the chances you'd actually have to be able to upgrade it to a Griffin's. The odds that you would have to be able to gamble a Griffin's Eye based on your character level are as follows. Please pause the video if you'd like to be able to check out any of the specific numbers, as I'm not going to read them out. Like my script, it literally says right here, don't read them out. And if I'm actually going to make it in Hollywood, I got to be able to read my lines whether they're good or not. All right, guys?
They fly now! They fly now? They fly now!
Meaning the higher the character level that you're using to be able to gamble for circlets and coronets, to be able to first upgrade to a diadem, and then from there upgrade to a Griffin's Eye, increases with each character level, maxing out at level 99. Now this is just me speaking, but if I was actually gambling for a Griffin's Eye, I would not even bother with the circlets. I would just simply gamble the coronets, because the circlet would first have to gamble past the coronet, to then gamble a tiara, to then gamble a diadem, and eventually turn into a unique. So if I could actually skip one of the upgrade processes and to be able to start with the coronet to have a better chance of it hopefully upgrading to a diadem, that's just how I would do it, to be able to hopefully better my chances of it actually turning into a diadem, and then from there upgrading to a unique, which would then be Griffin's Eye. Even considering how extreme it would be to gamble one, there have been quite a few people that have actually been lucky to get a Griffin's Eye while gambling.
Să compare mit.
Să pleca. Opa, Griffon ce urcet.
I heard about that change to Circlets. I thought that was pretty cool way to do it. It's the first diadem. Griffon? Oh my god! I did it!
As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I did end up gambling 50 million gold, and it's been going on in the background this entire time to not only save you guys time when going over the crucial information on the basis of gambling, but to not subject you guys to seeing all the trash gambles that I got, which was about 99% of them. But these are the best ones that I was able to get, and I'm not claiming these are GG by any means. I want to make sure to make that very clear. I don't want to make you guys feel like you're being clickbaited or misled into thinking these are better than they really are. But of the 50 million gold that I was able to gamble, these are the best that I was able to get, so let's go ahead and check them out. Starting in the middle is one with teleport charges, for those who want the skill without other means of getting it, such as Enigma, teleport charge staff, or teleport charge amulet. Nothing amazing, but at least an option if desired. The top left are two different 20% FCRs, unfortunately not rolling with +2 to either a character or a specific skill tree as well, but at least when it comes to the diadem, it is ideal to be able to re-roll over and over with 6 perfect skulls in hopes of getting something better. Moving to the right are the ones that have a character or specific skill tree that have 30% faster run walk. The bottom two are the ones I can actually see being used. Had the assassin one's poison res either rolled fire or lightning, it would have been a lot better. But of these, the shapeshifting circlet is my favorite. If taken to Larzik and hopefully getting 2 open sockets, could be potentially useful, especially with being able to use it starting at level 45. Next is the only magic one to roll as a character or specific skill tree with 20% FCR. I don't want to lie, I don't play a martial arts sim for any other reason than I just haven't built one yet, so anyone watching want to give me any feedback on potential uses, I am all ears. But I'm assuming this would be more so for PvP, something else I also know very little about as I don't play PvP myself. The last two are 2 trophies, which are the 220s for the sorceress. Now neither of these are GG by any means, but in my attempts at either imbuing or rerolling diadems, I've been looking for 220 Necro and Sorceress diadems, and despite not being a diadem, at least I have my 220s for her. The circlet would be something potentially used on a budget gold fine sorceress. I'd be a lot more confident in saying that had the all res rolled a little bit better and a more useful line rolled instead of the lightning damage. And that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and were able to see if maybe gambling circlets and coronets to be able to maybe get a Griffin's if you're in the market for it would be worth it for you. If not, hopefully you guys just learned something new when it comes to the gambling process and were able to enjoy the video regardless. If you like this kind of content, want to see more, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be notified whenever a new video comes out.
Come on. Come on. Come on then. There you are. There you are.
And if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by leaving a like. It really is appreciated to be able to help my channel to grow. And if you want to see more on my Diablo 2 Resurrected content, there's going to be a card in the corner up above for you to check out. And there's a lot more videos already in it with a lot more coming in the very near future. Other than that, hope you're all staying safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.